to Pinch of Basile. I am the host with the most. I am Basil, rosemary, and herbs. Son, on the spice rack, nothing but whittling away, waiting to be used in some type of spaghetti sauce someday soon. Here, I couldn't do this show without my wonderful co-host, Janice Hermson, and how could we ever even do this show without our chief engineer, Christian Meyer? How y'all doing?
I'm doing well.
Me too. No, that's all right.
Talking over each other.
I was going to say, walking all over you.
I got to make sure that everyone is, listen. I want to listen. I'm very, very excited. I actually read a book that someone.
Oh no! You? No way!
Hey, listen. There was a couple of words I could make here and there.
Who twisted your arm to do that?
I don't know, but
Can't
my
imagine.
third grade teacher must be very, very proud of me. I'm just saying. Don't forget, we stream live on Facebook. You can also listen on the TuneIn app on any phone or device. Once you have the app, just search America Matters. If you're on the computer, just go to americamatters.us. We want to hear your comments. Go to my Basil fans page on Facebook. We already have about 589 people already watching this show on Facebook. I'm lying. Anyway,
it was a good lie, though. I liked it.
Yeah, what? Didn't it sound good?
It sounded great.
589 as I looked over.
I like it when you say
absolutely.
we have tens of people watching.
Tens of people watching, folks. Tens of people are watching. Basically, listen, as I tell you, we want to hear your comments. Go to my Basil fans page on Facebook. That's BASILEFANS. Like me, watch me, talk to me. If you have questions, because we got a fantastic guest with us, Joseph Holsworth is with us. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 844-790-8255. Or you can also text Janice. Janice, can you please give them that wonderful magical number?
It is 775-237-2266.
And don't forget, we can be heard all over the world thanks to, because of really one thing out there. Greek Beat Radio, folks.
Greek Beat Radio.
And that's why we spend those tens of dollars to get that type of promotion that we use. I'm very proud of it. Anyway, listen. Yes.
Me too.
Someone say something?
I said me
you
too.
too. Okay.
Me too. Come on.
Yes, I know. Listen, we're for my fans over in Australia, through the UK and all throughout Europe, throughout North America, South Africa. Thank you all so much for listening. We have a fantastic guest. A lot of people don't know today, June is actually National PTSD Awareness Month. Our guest joined the military at 17 years of age, served 3 tours in Afghanistan and in Iraq in those 2 theaters as an infantryman with the 82nd Airborne Division, which is right down the street from me from Fayetteville, or as I refer to it, Vietnam, North Carolina, home of the 82nd. He went to study literature at the University of Nevada, and then later, creative writing at California College of the Arts. Good for him, man. He has 2 novels, The Devils of Eden and What Deepest Remains, an autobiographical narrative that follows a young but seasoned veteran from his last mission in Iraq to return and readjustment to life outside of combat. It explores the inner psyche of the modern veteran from the perspective of a jaded young man caught between his pride of service and the moral dilemma of fighting an unjust war. He battles PTSD and alcoholism until he finds peace in the company of a young progressive poet. Welcome to A Pinch of Basile. Joseph, thanks so much for being with us, brother.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, dude, let me tell you, first of all, just knowing that you were right down the street from me, you have no idea how excited I was. In Fayetteville, I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. And so you could tell by the studio, we had that early American disaster motif. We're really, really proud of. So listen, it's really, really cool that you're with us. Man, let me ask you a couple of things. Tell me a little bit about yourself, just a little. I want my fans to know who you are and what you. And we're going to get to the major questions in a little bit. But tell me what's going on in your life right now.
I spent the last few years teaching. I live out in Berkeley, California now with my wife. We moved out here a few years ago when she went to law school. And I was teaching public school in Oakland, and then I decided to go back to school to work on my MFA. So I went back to school last year, and I got another year to go in that. So at this point, I'm just kind of diving all into writing and going to do everything. Good for you. Make it a full-time gig.
Yeah, good for you, man. And pretty amazing, your story, to be quite honest with you. You know, as I was reading, I wasn't kidding. I had to finish it up because I wanted to make sure. I want to prove to you that I have it right here in my hand. Yeah. Right in the beginning, you caught me with something, and I wanted to know if you could basically give me a little bit, and all of our people who read this book are going to come across this. Beginning of your book, you write, "What deepest remains?" You wrote that there was only one thing you knew about war. And in quote, you say, "Today's soldier needn't dishonor himself to come home in shame." Explain that a little bit more in detail for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is especially applies for my last tour personally. When I was in Iraq, I was in Ramadi, and it was just the nature of our occupation, the manner in which we went about our missions, the way, and that's not to put all the weight on the command. A lot of it was because it was such a hot zone, like, to stay alive, we did have to change our tactics, and our rules of engagement became very, very liberal, on our favor, obviously. So there was a lot of stuff that we had to do simply to keep alive and accomplish our mission that weren't outside of the Geneva Convention or anything, and weren't time, but are still things that you're going to feel pretty bad about.
I've always told people, once you know your material and basically know what the next man is going to do, you can improvise, and everyone knows what the next step is going to be without having to talk to each other. And that must have been something that you all did, to work like clockwork without even, what the other man's going to do. You just know what he's going to do. And God bless you, man. To be in that type of, it's hot as hell. My brother-in-law was there, and he was in Iraq during Desert Shield and Storm. And it was a little bit crazy, but you guys really went above and beyond, going into certain places. Scared out of your mind?
Yeah, I'm progressively, actually, as my tours went on. When I was in Afghanistan, for one, it was my first tour. I was 18, so, I felt I had, fresh out of airborne school, I was pretty cocky and feeling comfortable.
Of course.
And as much stuff that went on in Afghanistan, I never really felt like at any time an immediate danger that I was going to die. Like, there's some things in retrospect where it's like, oh, that could have gone differently and things could have happened.
Sure.
But by the time my last tour in Iraq, I think the big thing that changed for me was, I got my sergeant stripes before I deployed, and then, I was a squad leader, so I was in charge of guys. So that really changed it for me, because it went from, as a private, as a specialist, you do have responsibility, obviously, like, to your other people in your unit to, do your responsibility to keep people alive. But as a squad leader, as a unit leader, it's a whole different type of responsibility that you take over, right, where you really, really start worrying about the lives of every individual soldier to a different, it's almost like a parental type concern.
Right. Stay with us for a second. We got to do a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be right back with Joseph Holsworth. You are listening to A Pinch of Basile.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back. You're listening to A Pinch of Basile all around the world. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Basile Fans, BASILEFANS on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website. You can always go to BasileLive.com. Listen, don't forget, you're listening to this all over the world on Greek Beat Radio.
Greek Beats Radio. Beats Radio. Beats Radio. Beats Radio.
And right now, Joseph is going, my God, the technical things that they have at their disposal. If you have any questions for me and or Joseph, you can call us at 844-790-8255. If you're on Facebook, leave us a comment on Facebook. And also text us as well. Janice, that magical text number, please.
Magical text number 775-237-2266.
We've been talking to Joseph Holsworth, the author of What Deepest Remains, The Journey Home. It's a story that depicts, the ravages of war, but also the struggles of a soldier once becomes a civilian and tries to transition back to home into a regular life. And I gotta be, I'd be remiss as I was reading this. One of the questions that I had, and I actually wanted to write it, is like the accounting that you basically had, and I want to make sure that I have the accounts that you actually had with the battles, the firefights you had with your men in your book. The descriptions were so vivid. And I read a lot of stuff when it comes to Clancy and a lot of other authors whom I love and whatnot. But you can actually see the fight in your head as you read this. And that's something that was really, really cool on your part. But let me ask you, as you were typing on your computer, remembering each individual pull of a trigger or throw of a grenade, did you stop and get the chills or have any flashbacks or freeze up or have tears run down your cheeks? And was there any of that as you were going through such a description of what you did?
Yeah, especially those first 50 or so pages were extremely difficult to get out. And I had to obviously rework them a lot and do a lot of editing and that whole process through, the whole book, but especially those first 50 pages that you kind of mentioned where the initial, battle sequence is going on in Ramadi where I begin the book. That was extremely emotionally challenging to revisit all those things and try to exact those details, that you're talking about in that manner, even though it was, a somewhat fictionalized account. It was, I was obviously drawing on, things that actually happened. And, as far as that sequence went down, it was, pretty much what did happen to a couple of our squads.
Sure. I want to tell you, Joseph, and I know I've told you before, we had people that read the book that gave us that feedback that it was just so real and it was hard sometimes to get through, but hard in the way that you had to pause, but you didn't want to not read it. It wasn't like you wanted to put the book down and stop. It was that you had to stop because it was so powerful. So
it was.
Yeah. And Basil, I just want you to know we do have a question from the audience.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So the question is, what troops from other countries did the American troops work with, and how did they get along?
Personally, I can't really answer that question too much. In Afghanistan, I very, very briefly, and by briefly, I mean in the 9 months or so I was there, I worked with an Italian infantry unit for 2 days. There was a Romanian infantry unit that we worked with for 3 days. Other than that, I didn't work with anybody else. In Iraq, on one of my tours, we worked with some French Foreign Legion guys actually on a mission. But other than that, I wasn't really working with people from foreign militaries, allied forces, or anything.
And did you get along?
The exchanges I had in Afghanistan with the Italians and the Romanians were actually, it was great for sure. Yeah.
Well, especially the Italians. They were probably cooking pasta.
Yeah, they actually were, and they had
they really
in Afghanistan, so that was a welcome thing for us.
That was good. Yeah, throw some pizza outside on the sand, let it cook, it'll be ready. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they improvised.
Basically, what did you want your reader to know once they finished the book? What was the main thing you really wanted them to know about where you were?
Well, I think for one, I didn't want to, there wasn't anything that I was specifically trying to get off about like my specific experience. I wanted to more generalize what, a conglomeration of my experience and experiences of a lot of, the friends that were around me that, served around the same time, people I knew and stuff. So I really wanted to show that although veterans are really celebrated right now in kind of a peculiar way in America, have been through most of these wars, but there isn't a lot of things in place for veterans to actually succeed. And it is extremely difficult for veterans on the outside. And that's not only like an institutional failure, it's also just a problem with, kind of, I think, the human condition. A lot of it has to do with, how as males, I think particularly in America, we're grown up, but it's extremely difficult when you get out of the military to establish like a new identity, to abandon the identity that, meant so much to you, especially if you're, a paratrooper or a Marine, something like that, where you take a lot of pride in that title. It means so much to you. That's everything that you are. Then when you get out of the military, you kind of relinquish that title, and then you're just kind of like, Bill who works at a warehouse now, or, at least like when I got back, it's like I was an infantryman, that was all good and well, it's like I got a lot of medals, but it's like it didn't give me any experience to do anything on the outside. I couldn't even get like a low management job. I had to start from the bottom. So it's like I went to college, luckily, and went that route. But I mean, I guess my very long answer here is I wanted to kind of depict what that, reintegration process actually looks like for the conference. Right.
Did you have a difficult time and actually, because towards the end of the book, I was reading when you had, you were going to college, your father just left to go home. And it was kind of funny because you said, tell him, just wait a minute, and put your finger up, and he still walked away. And I've had memories of my dad doing that. And you said you had a phone call from, one of your guys, your buddies that you're in battle in. And I'll tell you what, it's like, what do we talk about now? And I think you kind of felt the same way. What do we talk about? There's nothing. Hey, we just went on a raid the other night. You can't talk about that. So, so how was that?
I mean, I have, that was actually based on kind of a conglomeration of a few of my friends, because most of my friends that stayed in from the 82nd went to special forces eventually. I mean, having conversations with them is always interesting. I mean, their outlook has changed maybe slightly, but I mean, it's still, they're still in it. Obviously, they still very much like believe in the cause and believe that, the tactics that we're using eventually will prevail. So, I still respect, all my friends that are in and doing their thing. So I try not to get like too much into it at this point. They know where I stand on it. So
very cool. I got one more quick question. Where can people get the book? Is there a website that you have dedicated to your books, who you are? Where can they go?
I don't have my own website, although I'm probably slacking on that now. I guess I should have my own website available. You can definitely order it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble is an easy place to, get it. I'm hoping that after this, pandemic hopefully dies down a little bit, some local bookstores, both in the Bay Area and around Reno, will be starting to carry it. But that's kind of hard to access those avenues right now. So
it is actually in distribution, and there are some stores that are starting to pick it up. And that's only Joseph doesn't even know because I haven't had a chance to tell him. We did see some things picking up. So since things have started opening up, there are some that are starting to order, and so it is getting out there. But we released in the middle of the pandemic. We knew it would be tough, but we did. Right?
It's one hell of a great read. Joseph, thank you so much for being with us. I really do appreciate it. Please come back anytime you want. And folks, so we got to do that break thing, and we'll be right back with more of the Pinch of Basile.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Now back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back with a Pinch of Basile. I am your wonderful host with the most. You can call us right now at 844-790-8255 if you want to chime in. That includes our audience from Greek Beat Radio.
Greek Beat Radio.
Trying to throw me off, aren't you?
Yeah, you thought you were going to get him. He's on.
But, man, he's on it today. He's got his finger on the button. Anyway, yeah, I tell you what, for all my fans in Australia, for all my fans throughout Europe, thank you so much for the wonderful letters of support. And I know you're all excited about having me come. Listen, go to my website, get the Benduza Palooza Concert World Tour shirts. We have a company that sends them out. Don't ask me to sign them. I can't sign them. Now, if someone wants to pick up a bunch of shirts, and I'll send them to you over it, but I cannot send individual shirts because it's going to cost you just as much as the shirt from me sending it postage. I don't want to do that. So we're only doing the concert shirts here in the good old U.S. of A. I can't even do Canada, believe it or not. So do me a favor. Make sure you get an opportunity to go do that, but check us out. Go to basillive.com. We're going to have more stuff for you as well. I'm going to be coming to, as far as dates, listen, folks, I'm here until August 1 is when it lists for me. I'll be doing some cruise ships, and I'll be down in Myrtle Beach again, going down there and doing a week there. I'm very, very excited about that. And then we have our other tour dates that we'll be doing throughout the fall and going all the way through, believe it or not, March, April of next year. So we have to double up on shows and everything. So check us out. Give us an email. Let me know what you got in mind. We'll be doing that. And I got to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to coming back to the UK as well. I want to do my show back there. And we're going to concentrate in London and do it there and do like 3 shows for a week at a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday, and do 3 shows at the theater that I usually go to that I love. So we'll be there. It's called the Millfield Theater. It's theater. And you can always catch us. Yeah, they spell
Gotta say it that way. Theater.
They have to say theater. And they spell it, not an E-R, but an R-E.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's why they spell theater.
Theater.
Yeah. And then they spell tires, T-Y-R-E-S.
Oh, excellent.
There's something wrong with you. It really is. I don't know why I find the women so attractive and the food so good. I love fish and chips, so it's unbelievable. But really good, and that's really, what am I going to tell you? It's stuff that I like to do because I'm crazy that way. I'm just a little bit nuts. We got a lot of people who are watching us right now. Irene Manis is watching us. Manny Polis is watching us. Janice Herndson.
Go figure.
Yeah, John Focus, Steve Bruce, Hey Yamalas. You see Dimitra Callens, Evan Goudis, who promised me a show in Toronto. I'm still waiting, but you know what? Who cares about Stevie? There's a man who made me a star, put me on the map, for God's sakes, with a huge show. We had over 2,000 people in Montreal for that special I did. Greeks Gone Wild. It was very, very cool. Steve, thank you. Nick, thank you for watching.
Yeah, but did
Marika,
you see Steve's
Gregson.
question?
So, pardon me?
Did you see Steve's question?
Yeah, you asked it already, didn't you?
No, the next one. What kind of beverage are you drinking?
Yes.
What is in your cup?
You really gonna? Okay. It's a concoction I put together. Mm-hmm. It's called egg drop soup.
Lunch.
I was in a mood.
Dinner for you.
Oh my God, I was in the mood. It was something to eat. The only thing I had today was 2 hard-boiled eggs, and basically on the way out. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I was like, it was just too much. It was just too much for me to handle. So anyway, so Steve, what kind of beverage? That's what it was. It was egg drop soup from the local Chinese. I love sushi. I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there. This Friday, I am doing something very, very unique. I'm going to be doing the Asian Indian concert at 9 p.m. And I have an Indian following. Did you know that?
I was not aware.
I didn't either. I have an Indian following. following. They love me. They love me. And I love, oh my God, Indian women. Holy tamale. That is beautiful ladies. And I'm doing this show. They're interviewing me and doing a thing back and forth, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll be doing that. You want to find out information about that, the only thing you got to do is while you're on Basile Fans, you can, I guess, go down a little bit. There's a link for the tickets to get that. You got to get tickets. It's not a freebie. And then
that's very cool.
Yeah, it is. They're raising money for COVID people in the Indian population in Northeast Ohio.
Nice.
And they're raising money. So for all the Indians around, especially, there are a ton of Indians in London. Those who are watching, whomever, listen, go catch the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. They love the Greek material. I can't tell you why. So, yeah, it is what it is. What can I tell you? And I'm
because
excited. You're
everybody's favorite Greek.
I am everyone's favorite Greek. I
go.
Can't help it. I got to be me. I got to be me. I got to be.
Do that in Greek.
See, there you
go. Not bad, not bad.
Don't screw with me in my Greek. Don't mess with me. No, you white people have no idea what's going down here. No idea. Okay.
You are correct.
Anything else going on, Jesse? What do you want to talk about, sweetheart?
I want to ask you if you were talking about doing different things, and sometimes you do your thing on Friday at 9:00. They have
Basile Fun Hour.
Yeah. You have too many people for that, but they have Facebook rooms. Has anybody out there used a Facebook room?
No. Tell me about it.
Well, it is very odd. I said, well, I don't know what this is. I looked it up, and it said, you could have up to, I think, 50 people, and almost like a big Zoom call, right? Okay. So I jumped on there, and I said, okay, I'm going to just do this and see what happens. Well, so the first thing that happened was nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it told me that I had to invite people. So I thought, okay, fine. Well, not knowing that when you invite people, everybody gets this message like on their phone or whatever they're using, tablet, computer, and they start jumping on your room. So I had my daughter, I had one of my co-hosts, then I had one of the writers jump in. I mean, it was just like all of a sudden, then I had people texting me, sorry, I can't come in right now.
Hold on. Christian, did you get an invite?
I didn't. I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight.
And you know why? Because Christian's working, and I know he's working, so I left him alone.
And evidently, I'm just a schlumbo.
You're in a different time zone, and you were probably working too. Time zone, get it?
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
What can I tell you? So I was just curious if anybody else, well, only when I'm with you.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to figure out if anybody else used rooms. I see everybody, like I have friends and they all have rooms and it says, say hi to, whomever. And I'm like, I'm not going to say hi. Why do I want to do that? Right? That's intrusive. So I just don't get the room thing other than to have maybe a private, family thing or something. But I don't think any of that's private, right? Can that be private, Christian?
I got to tell you what we did. When we did the Basile Fun Hour 10, which I can't believe it's been 10 weeks we've been doing this.
Right.
And having fun doing it.
Having fun.
I got together with my brother-in-law and a big friend of ours, Bilboy Aziz, and who's got the next.
You guys were having a lot to drink.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yes.
We were drinking Greek moonshine, and it was hysterical because my brother-in-law got drunk.
Yes, he did, quickly.
I mean, Bill and I, he could see it was in his face. They're like, hey, John, how you doing? Yeah, I'm good.
You were telling him, oh, no, you're not drunk. Oh,
he was
buzzed. He was totally buzzed.
I was laughing so bloody hard because he was drunk. Going, listen, man, I can't keep up with you. I said, you weigh over 300 pounds. You're 350 pounds for God's sake.
Doesn't matter.
I'm 100 pounds less, and I was working on my third one. And this stuff it's called Cipro. And as a matter of fact, remember that one? It's called Lazy Eye Distillery.
Yes.
That company that wanted to go ahead and work with us. Well, it was their Cipro. It was delicious. Delicious. Their vodka, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then we also tried some of the wines that we got from AxiosWine.com. Folks, please go ahead and get that one. AxiosWine.com. And, kind of interesting with some of the stuff that we were going through, but we're cooking. We cooked and we had food
you had good
last
food.
week. People went nuts with that food.
They did.
So now this week we're doing more food. We're going to have lamb chops. We're going to have little lamb chops. And we call them Greek lollipops because you can just stick them and eat them like that. They're delicious. So we're going to be there, and we're going to have a couple of more guests, and it's going to be a drink fest with a lot of food. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I want all of you that are watching right now, make sure you come and catch us on Basile Fans on Facebook between 9 and 10 o'clock. And then we're going to be there.
Eastern.
And then every Tuesday what goes on here. Every Tuesday from 6 to 7, it's the Basile Hour. That's right, baby. It's a Pinch of Basile radio show on America Matters all over the world, especially because of Greek Beat Radio.
Greek Beat Radio.
We are all over the planet. That's right. We're in South Africa. We're in Australia. We're all throughout Europe. We are in, we're throughout the North America, United States, Canada. Even the Eskimos love us. They truly do. Nanook, the Greek Nanook from the north. Anyway, listen, folks, we got to do some more sponsored thing and do some commercials and whatever. We'll be right back with more of A Pinch of Basile.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
Oh, so glad you can join us on A Pinch of Basile. If any of you have any questions for me, just give us a call at 844-790-8255. Remember, we're at Basile Fans, BASILE-FANS on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or go to my website at basilelive.com. That's right. Show dates are there and lots of other interesting stuff that Janice just filled me up full of these wonderful things that I'm interesting stuff.
You want some interesting stuff?
I would love some interesting stuff.
I have some interesting stuff. Do you know that today is National Donald Duck Day? Yeah, I'm waiting for it. Wait for it.
Okay.
I almost heard it. I almost heard it. I know I did.
I can't do it. I really, so some guys who could do it, I just not one of them.
I thought you were one of them. All right. So June 9th each year commemorates the birthday of a funny animated cartoon character, and Donald Duck made his first screen debut on June 9th, 1934 in The Wise Little Hen. So there you go.
Did you know along those lines, today is also the first appearance of Tweety Bird in 1943, 45?
Really?
Yeah.
That was one of my daughters. The one I talked about yesterday, she had her birthday. It was one of her favorite characters. So There you go. Yeah, Tweety Bird. Love Tweety Bird. In fact, I think she has a Tweety Bird tattooed on her leg. I'm pretty positive of that.
Oh,
so
wow.
There you go.
Wow.
So
I gotta tell you,
but it's an angry Tweety. Come on. It's not like a cute Tweety.
Yeah, you never heard Tweety go, I'm going to kill you. No, you never heard that.
So here's what you need to do. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I just love the grandmama. That was, grandmother that always took care of Tweety. She was always oblivious of everything that was going around her and stuff like that. And here this bird was like beating the hell out of that cat. And that was, to me, so funny. And then, do you remember when Sylvester the cat had his son?
I don't remember that. Yeah.
You don't remember the son?
I don't.
You walk up.
Oh, no, I do. Yes.
And he was always sounding like that. Father? Oh,
yes.
Father. I am so embarrassed by my father. It's hysterical. I mean, I would just die laughing. And then Foghorn Leghorn, this rooster with this huge bravado. He's just more than boy, and every time dynamite would blow up on him, his feathers would come up, and he'd always have a funny line like, and this is just why I keep my numbers numbered just for such an occasion. And to me, I would die laughing as he's holding all these feathers. And then there was the chicken hawk, the little chicken hawk from the mother hen. And,
you remember them all. Wow.
Oh, my God. Don't you? I'm a chicken hawk, and you're a chicken. Boy, I'm not a chicken. I'm telling you right now, that dog over there is a chicken. And I would just die laughing because the writing was so good.
Yeah.
And Mel Blanc was such a genius when he did all those voices.
So Steve says that there should maybe be a Bullwinkle National Day. What do you think?
Oh, why not? For the shoulder. Look, Bullwinkle, and I told Steve wasn't even aware. I did Steve's show. As a matter of fact, Steve, we got to get your radio program, your company, to go ahead and get us over there as well. I'm telling you, because this show would do really, really well in Australia. But the thing was that really amazed me about Bullwinkle. Well, it amazed me that Steve didn't know that the Bullwinkle animation and the audio was done in 2 countries, Mexico and also in Australia, believe it or not, because they tried to avoid the union costs here in America. And that was the bottom line. That's why they did that.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So it was, but, Merry Melodies. Do you ever remember? I used to remember, like, Fritz Freeling was the director of a cartoon, right? And it always said directed by Fritz Freeling. And you're always wondering, what the hell did a director do in a cartoon? Except to go, cut! Daffy, that wasn't exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
So you never knew what a director was until I started doing cartoon voices for different companies and did a lot of Japanese anime. And you had to deal with storyboard. You look at a storyboard, this is what's happening, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. And the cartoon, believe it or not, is already drawn out, except for the expression on eyes and the lip movement. And that's where you would, as you're going through every segment, where that voice actor is in there and the director pulls out of him exactly what needs to be done. And as soon as the audio is laid down, the actual artist goes around the expression or the tone or whatever and shows it in the eyes and the lip movement. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah,
little behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. So I figured, they do things like they suggest for these How to Observe Donald Duck Day, right? Host a Donald Duck impersonation contest, bake Donald Duck shaped cookies, watch episodes of Donald Duck cartoons, and play Donald Duck trivia games. I can't even imagine people doing this, right? But I understand the thought process behind it, because the reason people do national days is because they want to promote a product, promote something, right? So I thought I would propose to you, Basil, there must be something that you can make be a national day. So you have to, that's your homework, is you have to come up with a national day that you're going to promote a Pinch of Basil.
A National Pinch of Basil Day, huh?
Well, you might have to, massage that a little bit, but,
Oh, just massage the seasoning into it, the basil. Oh, how clever. Okay.
All right. Trying. Just a thought,
I know, yeah.
Well, then you become a national whatever, right? Then you're on the National Day page, and every year your name comes up.
I think McCormick's Seasonings should make me their spokesperson.
National Basil Day. I wonder if there is a National Basil Day. I haven't looked that up.
I don't think so. I would, trust me, knowing my ego, I would have found it.
I was going to say, I think we'd already know that, right?
Yeah. I don't know about you, Janice, but today is National Basil Day.
No.
You can do a parade in my honor up and down my driveway.
Go ahead, Christian.
Oh, no, I thought I found it.
Nope.
But I was wrong.
Yep.
You thought it was National Basil Day someplace in some country?
Saint Basil's Day is January 1st, though.
Oh.
Absolutely. Ios Basilios. And that's why, see, the Greeks, honest to God, my father had no idea when he was born, because they don't celebrate birthdays. They celebrate name days. Name day to a Greek Orthodox Christian has always been more important than his or her birthday. So for me, we celebrate our birthdays. Don't get me wrong. We have cakes and everything. But it's New Year's Day for me, right? And it's very, very exciting. People come to my house and everything. And then you cut the cake. It's referred to as Vasilopita. And what you do is they wind up getting a coin and they bake this beautiful, sweet, moist bread, right? And they wind up and they bake it. And then you cut the cake for this bread in so many pieces. The first piece of bread goes to the good Lord. Second plate goes to the house. And then whoever gets the coin, it's good luck for the rest of the year. So it's called Vasilopita. Vasili, Basil, St. Basil's Day, Vasilopita. And that's why they have it.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
Oh,
what an education we're getting just because of a national day, right?
Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's very difficult to be me and, to have a special day. I never heard of St. Janice Day. Have you? I don't think so.
It wouldn't matter if I had.
Is there a day revolved around the name Christian? I'm curious.
No, not at all.
No, nothing like that.
Every day is a Christian day.
Except they spell it a little differently. That's okay.
So listen, there are times when the Greeks use the C, like for Chris, it's Chris, for Christo. But there is no C in the Greek alphabet. Everything is K. If there's a hard kappa, so it's a hard K. So they never use C in the Greek alphabet.
Well, today was just a day when there were so many things that it was. National Strawberry Rhubarb Pie Day, and also National Call Your Doctor Day. Love that. So the doctors need a day? I mean, are you kidding me?
I want to be on the committee that approves these.
I do too, definitely.
I think it's a bunch of crap. I don't like calling my doctor because there's always going to be some type of hand puppets he's going to do, where. And I'm just not really thrilled about his hand going anywhere near places.
Well, yeah, there are some aversions like that. And I guess 80% of Americans delay or forgo preventative care. And so that's why they decided, I guess, they needed a call your doctor day. Well, yeah, but then you call your doctor today, and how many weeks, months is it before you get to see them, right?
Well, I got to be honest with you. That's true. That's very, very true. But I'm just, every man... really does not like prostate exams.
No,
every man.
Really?
Every man. Maybe some men like it. Okay, but I'm not going to go there. But I'm telling you, because I always get the doctors who played NC2A basketball Division I, who can palm like their car, and and they have the longest fingers in the world. And I'm like, Mother of God. Do we really have to do this? No. And it's always like, you're going to feel pressure. Pressure. Oh, my God. It's more than pressure. Yeah. So I always get a little bit uncomfortable about that. But, folks, listen, it's been wonderful having you here. A reminder, don't forget to listen every week on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. New York City time, Eastern Standard Time. We can be heard all around the world on americamatters.us. If you're using the TuneIn app, just search America Matters and be sure to keep it as one of your favorites. Questions and comments? Go to Basil Fans on Facebook, BASILE-FANS, and let us know what you think, or give me a call at 844-790-8255. Listen, folks, I love you. Have a blessed rest of the week. We'll talk to you soon. You are listening to Pinch of Basile.